So today, we're going to solve rational equations. Okay, so just like yesterday, when we had a big fraction over a fraction, we made that simpler by multiplying every term by our common denominator, okay? These rational equations, you have two ways of solving them. If it's just, this is a big fraction equal to a big fraction, right? So assuming that none of these fractions are added to another fraction or something like that, if it's just straight up fraction equals fraction, you could cross multiply and solve. Okay, you could do that. The other way, because these are simple, so cross multiplying might be the easiest way to do this specific type of problem.
When would you not be able to cross multiply?
If I had, when could I not cross multiply? If I had plus 2 over 3x.
Okay, so if it's like.
If it's not just one fraction on one side.
Okay.
Okay, so that's when you can't cross multiply. But if it's just like this, then this would be 10x equals 40x squared, set it equal to 0 and solve. Okay, but the other way, it's the same trick as yesterday. If we multiply, do you agree? If it's an equation, there's an equal sign. If I do something to the left, as long as I do the same thing to the right-hand side, I didn't change the value of the initial equation, right? So if I multiply the left by 10, I can multiply the right by 10, and I didn't change the value of it, as long as I do it to both sides. Well, that's what you're going to do. Find a common denominator, multiply everything by your common denominator, and what happens is all the fractions disappear. So then you just end up with a straight line equation that you solve. And from the mixed review that we just did, it's just solving a regular equation. Okay? So we eliminate those fractions by multiplying everything by the common denominator. So let's look at this problem and figure out what our common denominator has to be. Well, we have 10 and 5, so what's the common denominator with 10 and 5?
50.
No, smaller. 10. It could be 50, but that's too big. 10, all right? And then I have x squared and x, so it's x squared. You take the highest exponent, remember? Okay, so now we multiply each term by 10x squared. And what's going to happen is all our denominators will cancel. So we multiply this times 10x squared. And we multiply this times 10x squared. Okay, so this cancels with this. 5 and 10, this changes to what? 2. And then x squared and x, this changes to just x. So now we've eliminated the denominators. And so let's write what's left. So over here we just have 2 equals 4 times 2x is 8x. Solve for x. Divide both sides by 8. And x equals 1/4.
That's not that bad.
Okay, let's do this one. You can't cross multiply with this, right? That's why I always just do the same method every time. I just multiply by the common denominator every time. Then I'm not confusing methods. So my common denominator.
4x.
Very good. Y'all are getting good at that. So I multiply everything. Remember, x minus 6 is all together. So you have to multiply everything by your common denominator. Okay? So now, the x's go, right? 2 and 4.
2.
The 4 becomes a 2. Okay? 4x goes with 4x. 4x goes with 4x. So now let's write what's left. Now all the bottom's gone, so all you're left with is this top. But remember, this is plus negative. Remember, that minus changes to plus negative, okay? And so now, on the left-hand side of the equal sign, I just have 2 equals 1. And then I have negative, I have to multiply that times x minus 6. So it's minus x plus 6. So 2 equals 7 minus x. Just combine my like terms. 1 plus 6 is 7. So you subtract 7. So you have negative 5 equals negative x. Now what? Divide both sides by negative 1, and so you end up with x equals 5. Try this one. It's still a monomial at the bottom. Try this one. Okay, my common denominator is 9x squared. So I'll multiply times 9x squared. So this cancels. X squareds cancel, and this becomes a 3. So you end up with x plus 2 equals 3. And so x equals 1. That's 1.
But you just gotta multiply that by a plus 1.
Yes. So my common denominator is a plus 5, right? So we multiply this times a plus 5. We multiply this times a plus 5. And we multiply this times a plus 5. Yes. And no. So this cancels and this cancels. So all I'm left with is 1 equals a plus 5 plus 7.
That's what I
was like, what?
So 1 equals a plus 12. And then subtract 12 from both sides, so a equals negative 11. Okay, so this factors to
X plus 6 and x minus 1.
very good. I don't want to factor the top because then I'll just have to redistribute it to combine my things. Okay? So my common denominator is x plus 6, x minus 1. I already have the x plus 6 and I already have the x minus 1. So I multiply everything times x plus 6 times x minus 1. Okay, so we multiply this times x plus 6 times x minus 1 times x plus 6 times x minus 1 times x plus 6 times x minus 1. Okay? And so now this cancels with this cancels with this cancels with this cancels with that. Okay, so what's left? All I'm left with is x squared plus 4x minus 32 equals 1 times x minus 1. So that's x minus 1 plus, and then I have to distribute these. I have to multiply these. So that's x squared plus 6x minus 5x minus 30. Okay, let's combine everything on the left that we can and everything on the right that we can so we can see what we need to do next. So this is x squared plus 4x minus 32. I don't have anything to combine there. And then I have x squared. So I did that one. So then I have 1x plus 6x is 7x. Minus 5x is plus 2x. And then I have negative 1 and negative 30, so it's minus 31. Okay? So now I need to try to combine everything that I can. I have an x squared on the left and an x squared on the right, so that means those are going to cancel. Because if I try to put those together, they'll both equal 0. If I do minus x squared, they'll cancel. So then I have positive 2x. So I want to get, since now I just have x, so I need to get x on one side and my constants on the other. So we'll do minus 2x, and then to get rid of this 32, I'll do plus 32 and plus 32.
I messed up on it. Combine.
Okay, so now I end up with 2x equals 1. So x equals 1/2.
Alright, now look, let me tell you something.
Okay, y'all do this one. Okay, so this factors to x plus 8 times x minus 2. Right? My common denominator is x plus 8 times x minus 2, right? So, I'll multiply this by x plus 8 times x minus 2 times x plus 8 times x minus 2 times x plus 8 times x minus 2. That's gone. That's gone. And that's gone. So I'm only left with 7 equals 8. And then you're distributing a -2. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's -2x plus 4.
That's fine.
So 7 equals 12 minus 2x. Combine your like terms. Okay, so we should have subtracted 12 from both sides, giving me -5 equals -2x. Divide by -2, and x equals 5/2.